Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. What's going on? This is my first stream in a while. For those that trickle in, hopefully it's not too loud in the background. If it's too loud in the background, we can move. But we decided, to do something in the open air. I got a brand new laptop, and the battery life is semi-decent. So in the future, inshallah, we can probably actually do this at parks and things like that, Yeah. So thanks so much, guys, for joining me. I know it's been a while, and I've been a little inconsistent with streams, but, I've just been extremely busy. And that's something I'll probably talk about is, a kind of updates on what I've been doing since Ramadan, what I'm saying. But hope you guys are doing pretty well. And I hope you guys got the last video where I was talking about the issue of the Israeli-Palestine conflict. And to be very honest, I think somebody actually did a cyber attack us during that stream. But hey, it's all good, what I'm saying? Like, the Shaitan's never going to win. So this stream is going to be about what does love mean to you, right? Because on an individual level, I think that it means different things to different people. And nobody's able to give me a straight answer. So especially this day and age, in the age of materialism and lust and all those other different kind of ideologies, it's very hard to define that because people use the word love. It's a four-letter word, right? And there's other four-letter words people use in the vocabulary too all the time, right? So, they just throw it out there. I love this car. I love this song. What I'm saying? I love the way she looks in that dress. What I'm saying? All that kind of stuff. So I have to my brother the guided one. Yeah, man.
Was chosen one. It's the guided one. The chosen one. The man with the pitcher of water. Assalamu alaikum. Pleasure to be on here with my brother today to talk about love and its many aspects. I actually talked about it in my homosexuality video about how homosexuality is a mental illness. And I mentioned where it comes from, where it stems from. It's actually word love is associated with romantic. So we all know what they were into back then. So we've been using a word that's supposed to mean, or that means something else, but we've been using it interchangeably to mean something that we feel on the inside, which is really just like most of the time it's just lust. I think a really good word. I was listening to a brother on Instagram. He goes by Kali, K-A-L-I, Kali Amra, and he talks about how using the word love is pretty much, it's too cliche to use now, and he started to use the phrase "I value you," which was a completely different connotation. Like, you value somebody, you cherish it, you take care of it, you do what you can to nurture that thing, and that is what we call love. But it's to use that word value, when you value something or someone, you actually cherish it more than love. Love is just so interchangeably used, like you were saying, man. It's mostly material things. And then when you're dealing with people, it's mostly material relationships, what you can get from that person.
Yeah,
so, yeah, that's kind of like.
Hey, don't be afraid to speak louder because we got all this stuff in the background. So,
yeah, man, that's all I got. How does love play a role in your life?
To be honest, I've gotten this a lot in relationships. I've had girls that, I have a relationship with them for a while, and I would just feel some way about them. I'd just say, hey, I love you. And they would just be like, hey, you don't know what love means and stuff. And then that hurt me more than anything because, my parents divorced, and, when people act like divorce means nothing, these days it's just so common, But, divorce is, it's a destruction of a family. It leads to the destruction and fragmentation of a family. And to see, your parents who you thought loved each other just hate each other, and then see, you and your siblings get fought over in a custody battle and stuff. You see, like, how people that even create life together can just hate each other's guts. And it kind of disillusions you because, you had this Disney fairy tale version of love. that, hey, you know, when you get married, that's your person that you're gonna be with your life and stuff like that. And it comes out, you know, the truth that, especially once you hit puberty, you kind of understand human behavior, right? And that's when you kind of like see also the lust, right? And also that like just because people have sex together and go on dates, and, you know, even live in the same household, doesn't mean that they actually really care about each other. You know what I'm saying? And we see it in our quote dating culture right now. It's basically people enjoying each other's company, having sex for a long period of time, and then when they can't stand each other, they go on to the next person.
Yeah. And I think men and women have misconceptions about what love is, and most of the time, the advocacy for that is usually with the women, and the men are becoming slaves to that ideology so that they can get the women. You know, so we're both at fault here in terms of the abuse of that, the idea of love. Oh man, I lost my train of thought. You said something key about like living together, like basically dating. And,
Yeah. Dating these days, especially in the West, it's like in my eyes, right? Like how I understand things now is when you live with someone, live under the same roof as your partner or your girlfriend, whatever like that. That's no different than an actual marriage. It's ironic that people feel comfortable doing that rather than going to a courthouse and physically married. Like people feel comfortable enough to live under the same roof as somebody that they date, but they feel uncomfortable making it official and marrying people. It's so weird and twisted that way. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're afraid to get married to someone, you should be afraid to live with them.
right, exactly.
You know, the logic is just not there.
It's twisted. It's backwards.
Yeah. I mean, actually, my ex, man, I moved in with her. You know, I stopped her a lot. You know what I'm saying? This was when I was a Muslim. I moved in with her, and I think I maybe dated her for like a couple of months, man. You know? And yeah, she knew of me because we hung out a couple of times, but she didn't really know they knew me. And then that, like, our relationship changed so much when we lived together, and we kind of found out that we were like so completely different people. And it is kind of weird, like, but you know myself personally, I hate to say it, man. Even if I really like a girl, I notice that when I live with women, dude, it's just like they're hard to live with, man.
They really are.
Yeah, they really are. They're really hard to live with.
Like I don't know why they want to embody such toxic traits and then mask it under the idea of love, like almost like they lure us in, man. Like, I feel like men are really taught what the meaning of love is, and women are taught to use love. You know, like I quoted Dr. Phil Valentine. I really believe wholeheartedly in how his perception of how he saw love. Women exchange love for power. Men exchange power for love. So it's like when you really think about that phrase, who's the one who's really loving or whatever we think love is, or love in its essence, right? It's really men. Because we're the ones who actually understand it instead of using it as a tool to get what we want, to get see a means to an end of something. You know what I mean? And it's really tough. Me personally, I think love is something you, in terms of a relationship with a significant other. Obviously, you're gonna love a family member and someone close to you, but in terms of like relationships, I think love is a journey. I think when you really realize you love someone, it's because it's when you're looking back at that journey and you go, you know what, I stuck with you that long. That's because I love you. That's the truth. That's what I see love is. It's a journey. It's not something you get into like, and a year later you're like, wow, I really love this person.
Yeah, man.
It's something you have to be. It's something that has to be tried in order for it to be true.
Yeah, man. And it's kind of crazy like that because it's like, I think it's kind of weird that culturally, it's like the people admire celebrities and the rich and the powerful, and they always have the most dysfunctional marriages, right? And like, it's basically Hollywood, dude. These people are not married for like a couple of months to get divorces and stuff. And the fact that like, those are the cultural people that we look up to, and they kind of normalize that. Like, oh, we argue a bunch. I guess we should get a divorce. You know, one of the biggest reasons women get divorced is irreconcilable differences.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I mispronounced the first word. But that could mean a myriad of things. That means I don't like the smell of his farts, or he snores at night, or we don't like the same TV shows. It's so mundane. And it's like, you're willing.
My wife and I fought and ended up in divorce.
Dude, and it's like, bro, God forbid something real happen in your relationship. Like illness. It's like, because you say, like, sickness and health is one of the parts of the vows. Let's say I do get sick. Like, if you're willing to break up with me because of, like, some mundane reason, God forbid, wallahi, man. If
When I really need you and like I get sick or something and I'm in the hospital, you're at home fucking the neighbor.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is happening on an insane level. You know?
Facts, man.
Cheating wouldn't happen if women didn't open their legs. It's their responsibility. Cheating wouldn't happen if women didn't open their legs. Very simple. You're the gatekeeper. You know?
Yeah, for what trips me out too about, and this is not to get off. Hey, what's up, Nicer? Nice to see you. Yeah, I'm back, baby. Let's go. Let's go. What's good? Yeah, shout out my girl, Nicer, man. She's an OG, man. She's been supporting me from the get go.
Mashallah, mashallah. Pleasure to meet you. Assalamu alaikum.
So, well, man, real talk, man. It kind of sucks because like when I was bad, dude. And look, I'm not saying I not revealing my past sins or any other reasons than an educational moment, right? So real talk, when I was out in the game, when I was a player and stuff, bro, I got more ass being in a relationship than I did being single. For whatever reason, girls knew I was in a relationship, the way I carried myself and stuff like that. Some of them even knew my girlfriend. Now they weren't friends with her. I never went that far, but they knew that I was in a relationship, and it would be so freaking like it was just like easy, bro. And it really is frustrating because when you're single, man, when a guy's single, unless you're like a baller or something like that, it's very hard to even get a date with a girl. You know what I'm saying? And it's kind of weird like that. You know what I'm saying? Like it's whack.
Yeah, I noticed that too, and I was married. That women, they even just seeing a ring on your finger is it's all of a sudden some sort of incentive for them to come and talk to you and try to. It's like very chaotic. I don't know why women embody those chaotic tendencies when it comes to the opposite of progressing in life, whatever aspect of life. It's like every bad ideology women have to grab a hold of it and alter it, including the idea of love. And I really think that love is misused by women to get men, but I also think men are at fault too. Sorry, I got the incense blowing. I think men are at fault too because we're smarter than that. You know what I mean? We're not using our logical capabilities to actually see through the illusions that women present us. You know, and we fall for stupid things, and then we have to feel like we have to cope with, we're not equipped to cope with some of the pitfalls of love. And it all starts from getting ourselves in situations like that in the first place. And I think there needs to be, some education around that. You know?
Yeah. That's real, man. Hey, shout out to my boy Wagner, man. That's he's people Israelite homie. You know what I'm saying? So shalom to the fam. You know what I'm saying? Glad you can pop in. We're basically talking about what does oh, you can hear us? Okay, yeah. All right, awesome. So this is about basically what does love mean to you, man? And like for real, we were just chopping it up a little bit, man, and we're just basically being like, dude, for like the stereotype amongst guys, right? It's all we want to do is smash.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Granted, I mean, we're, you know what I'm saying? You know, that's what we're built for, you know, biologically. But real talk, man, dude, I know guys are like the most romantic people I know.
Men
like
are more romantic than
we're way more romantic.
Women
bro.
are not creative at all.
Yeah, bro.
Especially when it comes to love.
Bro, like, you know what I'm saying? I used to write girls poems. I used to like freaking, say all the sweetest things I could to a girl that I really liked, man. And what's weird is like that stuff was never really reciprocated. But when I was a savage and didn't give a damn, and I was like rude and disrespectful and manipulative, I mean, that kind of like made me lose a lot of respect for women, man. That's why I used to cheat. I used to like do all that because I was like, when I'm actually a decent dude, like I don't get any reciprocation.
No, not at all.
You know what I'm saying?
Or recognition.
Yeah.
Women don't accept like the whole nice guy thing. They really don't like it. They really don't. You know, they don't. It's weird, man. It's weird. And there's a lot of psychology behind it, but I don't think at the end of the day.
Well, I think it's a very Western thing. I think Western society values dysfunction and like it just like everything's a game now.
Right.
You know, nobody takes anything seriously. You know?
Right.
Sex is a game. You know, marriage is a game. College is a game.
But
you know, people
divorce,
go to college just to party. They don't even go to college to actually learn.
Divorce is celebrated.
Yeah.
You know, there's more articles on divorce than there are for marriages, encouraging people to get married and build families.
Yeah.
Splitting a family apart. The family court system is literally built to encourage and reinforce divorce.
That's man.
And separation of family and keeping the kids from the father.
Yeah. And it's like it's weird because the direction that things are going, man. Like they're doing the sex doll thing and stuff like that, man. And actually, in certain countries, man, like those Scandinavian countries that a bunch of liberals basically want to model America after, those countries are actually creating laws for those sex dolls to like have certain rights. Like it's getting so freaking crazy, bro. And in the future, bro, when sex work gets decriminalized, like real talk, when sex work gets decriminalized, it's done. Like dudes are not gonna date. Like it's over, bro.
Relationships are over, bro.
Yeah.
The minute I wouldn't say prostitution is already legal in certain aspects. But you're right. As soon as it gets decriminalized, relationships go out the window, and you can see that with OnlyFans. COVID proved that to us. You know what I mean? Like it's sad.
And so my boy Wagner, man, he said that he would sing 90s and early 2000s R&B to them, and then they would think that he was soft. And, yeah, man. Yeah, I totally feel that. I totally feel on that, man, dude. I was.
Meanwhile, they're screaming for the famous guys that do it with all the money and all the status and everything. You do it, you're the loser.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. Yeah, like I said, I used to write poems and stuff. Like, okay, one time I wrote a poem to a girl, and then she passed it around. She passed it around, and like all her friends were laughing at it and stuff. And then one time, you know what I'm saying, like I wrote a poem kind of being like, hey, why you like make fun of me? I was just expressing how I feel. I was pouring my heart out. And then she was just like, she laughed out and then like passed around to everybody in the class, man. That was like super embarrassing. That was like my freshman year in high school, bro. And after that, I was just like, man, like I don't give a damn, bro. Like I'm just gonna be a freaking savage, you know? Yeah. Especially like what kind of pisses me off is all the girls I had a crush on in high school. I would go on like I went on dates with them like shortly after I graduated and stuff. Yeah. And it was always like they always had a sob story like, oh, they got divorced or they had a baby daddy kind of thing going on. And then I would like view them in the lens of like when I was back in high school, like you know what I'm saying, like the thinking that was their authentic self, you know what I'm saying. But like a lot of those people think it's like when they're broken, then that's like they come to a guy like, I'm not saying I'm like a Romeo, like the best. Hearted guy. Everybody has a dark side, right? Everybody has flaws. But real talk, man, like I'm really empathetic to people that are in bad situations, right? And it's only after people get into like they get broken or they go through all this kind of stuff. Now they want a guy like me. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But it's like you didn't give me your best self. You know, you didn't give me your best self when it actually meant something. Now, like I'm not. Now you want to, have somebody be there for you. It's kind of whack, you know what I mean?
Women know better. They do. Because they're smart enough because women are all about their own survivability, their own selfish desires. So they're smart enough to orient their careers the right way. But when it comes to relational aspects of their life, they act like they're naive and stupid. They know exactly what they're doing. I always hold women accountable. I always do. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah, so I wish actually we had like Kavina here or some other girls, you know what I'm saying, to get in this conversation. Because I noticed that this conversation, dude, the way society is going, there's so much shaming. There's so much shaming language. When guys open their hearts up and talk about their experiences on why the dating culture is whack and this, that, and the third. There's so much like, oh, you're an incel. Who hurt you? And it's like everybody's getting freaking hurt. Like, why even use that as a freaking insult? Like,
who hurt you? Well, hey, somebody hurt you. somebody hurt is hurting people out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if somebody did hurt me, you know what I'm saying? Not saying they did, but even if they did, the fact that you have to say that as an insult means that hey, there are people out here perpetuating these things in order for these relationships to be torn apart like they are. But I do want to talk about the other side though. So even if like as far as love is concerned, because there are good men and good women out there.
Definitely, yeah.
And I
Shout out
think,
to the sisters, especially, man. The sisters out there repping, man.
And I think some of them have good intentions, like the two of us, who may not have the same opportunities or even the same education about love. They're looking at their parents and their friends and the examples around them, and they may not want to take part. They may know better, but it's still hard for them to achieve that. So I don't know, man. What would you say, about how would you expect somebody like that, especially women? They would have good women. They would have a harder time. How would you expect someone to approach love that way?
Like if a good woman to approach love?
Yeah, like if they're good, they just don't know. They don't have a good example. They don't have necessary education. How would you expect them?
Bro, that's the thing that sucks, man. Unfortunately, life with those interpersonal relationships, you can read there's a $1 billion industry on love novels and romantic movies, rom-coms, and self-help books, self-help gurus on YouTube, that dating coaches and all that crap. They even got femininity coaches now and stuff like that.
You're right. When I went to counseling, they had I forgot Gary Chapman. It was his name, and he has a book called The 5 Love Languages, man. And it's really interesting to see that, but at the end of the day, it's a very superficial way of looking at love, man.
Yeah, man.
And those self-help books and all that other shit, it's all crap, bro. So you have to learn how to love self, or you can't love anybody.
Facts,
So one of my ex's love language, one of it was gift giving. And it's just well, if I stop giving you a gift, then you don't love me. And that's very superficial and materialistic.
Very materialistic.
You know what I mean? It's how am I supposed to deal with that over time?
And you said something really good about if you don't love yourself, you can't love anyone else. And I feel like that's something undercurring in our society so much. There's a whole bunch of pseudo movements that are about the act like it's about self-love, like the whole body positivity movement and this and that. I love yourself and stuff like that. But no, I think especially in the West, we're really Westerners really kind of low-key hate ourselves.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's why when I was talking about homosexuality, they changed the definition to ego dystonic, which means away from oneself. It means you're suffering psychologically from not knowing yourself. And that's not just for homosexuals, for anybody who's having any sort of a hard time acclimating to certain aspects of society. The society's falling apart. Society's feeding narratives that people cannot just keep up with. There's so many isms and schisms and ideologies out there. It's well, if I'm growing up in the world, or how am I supposed to identify with something? How can I group orient myself to whatever the case is when there's so many things out here? So that's why people, they kind of latch onto these things. And love is one of those things where it's really just really fucked up and misconstrued.
Yeah, man. And for me too, especially this goes out to the brothers, man, or black people, melanated people, whatever you like to have it, right? We hate ourselves more than any group of people that's ever existed on the planet. We hate our hair, we hate our skin, we hate ourselves so much, and a lot of it was we were taught to hate ourselves, and it's so ingrained in our culture right now that we really don't dude, man, especially black relationships are so dysfunctional, bro. And we can make babies together, but we can't get along with each other, bro.
Right.
And it's sad, man. And so, as a black man, I remember as a kid, man, I would hate myself. All my heroes and all the movies I would watch, they never had a guy like me, especially a black dude that was articulate and maybe sensitive and stuff like that.
I mean, they had Spawn, but he was
they had Denzel, you know what I'm saying? But besides that, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, exactly. They really didn't have, not even superheroes, just characters that were positive black male figures that are multidimensional. They weren't just a thug that just got out of prison or something like that. You know what I'm saying? And so I kind of hated myself, and I always thought I was so ugly. You know what I'm saying? And I did actually have, including black women, that, they were involved in because colorism was always viewed from black men versus black women. No, I had the reverse thing where I was called, darkness and this, that, and the third, and you know what I'm saying? I was kind of ridiculed for being too dark, you know what I'm saying? Because light-skinned brothers were taking over, late 90s, early 2000s, light-skinned brothers, y'all was dominated. I'll give you that, you know what I'm saying? Chris Brown, when he came out, he changed the game, you know what I'm saying? So Hey, actually, my boy Wander, I gotta address, what you just said. I think real unconditional love will only come from the Most High and your mom. It's very rare you find a girl who truly loves you. Oh, dude, hands down, bro. Yeah, that's why I'm saying, like, man. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, man, he's like, he's my, first love, and that he's genderless. You know what I'm saying? So less so no, but you know what I'm saying? Yeah, but it just like my connection with my creator is the foundation for how I interact with anyone, for anyone.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
you are the only conduit. That's the barrier between you and your creator.
Yeah.
So if you don't love self, you can't even have a relationship with the creator. You have to love the creator because he created you. So understand who you are, and you understand the creator and how he loves you. And with that comment, I completely agree. It says Wagner. That's his name.
Wow, Wagner. Yeah.
Sound like a piece of love. I think it's just Allah, man. I think it's just God, the Creator, Most High. Because even your mothers today, they may be doing their best to show you their version of love, but then again, it's a misguided, especially in today's these last few generations. It's a very misguided and misperceived perception of love with women, especially if a lot of them grew up in broken homes. And they're raising and they're pushing this idea of a broken home, divorce. Most of them don't even like their fathers. Usually the kids are turned against the fathers in their life at all. And you're shown love by your mother. And again, it's remember, women don't know love until they get it from a man. Until they get it from a strong man, and the man is supposed to acclimate to what Allah expects out of him.
Yeah,
and that's where true love comes in.
Yeah.
That's why a woman follows her man.
Yeah, man.
And women can't teach a boy. Women can't raise men. They don't have that example. They just can't. So they can love you in terms of nurturing and everything, but there's another kind of love that a man gives, which is why we're the most romantic, which is why you were the one writing poems, which is why I've never had a girl write me anything.
Dude, I mean, guys are literally willing to throw their lives down for a girl to do life. And that's real talk. Like, girls don't reciprocate that stuff.
Right. I don't know.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I know guys that would jump in front of a moving car.
One woman that would risk her life.
Yeah.
And that's sad.
Yeah.
That's very sad.
Yeah. So
I see it in movies sometimes, like when the chick comes in and she's like, oh, her man's getting his ass kicked, and she comes in, I'm like, wow, that's pretty commendable, bro. Like, like to see a woman actually stand up for her man, or go apologize to her man, or go propose to her man, bro. That is something that needs to start happening more, and then we'll start seeing what true love looks like. I mean, it has no gender. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that like in a homosexual, like that's how they try to pervert these topics. I'm saying love has no face. That is not a human being. You know what I mean? It's not a gender in terms of what role you play. Love is a gender in terms of how you procreate for the survival of humanity, but in terms of in a romantic way, it has no sex. Love has no sex.
Yeah. So my girl Nice here, she said, "Love is being devoted to progress and solutions." I like that take.
I
you
like
know?
That.
Yeah, man.
Progress.
Like I said, it's a journey, man. So, and I think that a big thing is everybody wants to have that honeymoon phase, and they're clinging on to that honeymoon phase as long as they possibly can. Like, God, I want this honeymoon phase to last so much because I love my life. It's like, bro, you're gonna have plenty of times where you just don't like each other. That's why you have to have spaces, man. Like, you gotta have people that you go to, whether it be family members or really close friends, that you can just be like, hey, I need to digress. I need to just be away from the house for a little bit. You know what I'm saying? It gets to clear my head a little bit, man. And unfortunately, people are really anti-social, right? So that dynamic is kind of gone. So what people do is their significant other is supposed to be their best friend. And so, and that, this guy, I like to think he's my best friend, man. This is my homie, right? Yeah, but I mean, I can't imagine if we just don't get along, like we can't even stand to see each other. But I'm talking about all my personal secrets to this guy, and he just hates my guts. Like, I can't imagine that dynamic. So that's what a lot of people are doing in relationships. You gotta live with this person. You kind of have to
create those. Really, when you think about it, to hate somebody, you have to know them well enough. You know what I mean? Like, it just doesn't make any sense. But I couldn't imagine that either.
Definitely, man. Definitely. And this is a really great. Oh, Zaki. I say, Zaki, let's see your bling on your neck, both of you. Oh, these are prayer beads. Yeah, man. I always just keep it, just as a reminder of my faith, and that regardless of what mood I'm in or what situation I'm in, I always know that there's a bigger purpose for this life, so I don't get caught up in all the trials and tribulations as much, man. Especially like after of course y'all know the situation where I went to I had the mental health problems and stuff like that, and since then that's why I wear this, is because it's therapeutic. You know what I'm saying? I feel protected. It's not a protection like I think I'm invincible. I feel protected in my spirit, and this flesh is gonna go one day. You know what I'm saying? It's fragile, but I feel like my spirit is the thing I need to protect the most. You know what I'm saying?
Right. I have my prayer beads, but I also have some stones here. I have my amethyst. This one, I forget what it's called, but it's supposed to take condensed energies and frequencies and make them lighter. Because I'm all about peace and serenity and love, and I'm always trying to spread that towards people and just show them my humble and soft approach, I would say tender approach towards life and interactions with others. But yeah, man, I like that you said that, bro. It's a symbol of your relationship with your inner self.
Yeah, so we got quite a few people in here, so I'm gonna drop the link. If anybody wants to interact in this conversation, by all means, this is not gonna be us up here, basically just preaching to the choir. So if you guys got any disagreements, or if you just have some feedback you can give us, by all means, here's a link. I see we got Sarah Amawu. Sorry if I mispronounced your name, but yeah, welcome to the channel. Appreciate you coming up. You're welcome to voice your opinion as well. As you see in the title, this topic is basically about what does love mean to you, and we're analyzing it from a cultural perspective and a spiritual perspective. I mean, we've lived in the West our whole life, but we are practicing Muslim brothers. We're both reverts, so our understanding of love has evolved from things that we usually used to think of, and so that's where we're kind of deconstructing. Yeah. Man, yeah, and people act like love is just I think a lot of people get depressed because they think that the love that was modeled after the media and stuff like that's supposed to be the norm. And unfortunately, no, that's not the norm. That's the whole reason it's a fairy tale in the first place. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be a fantasy, but we wrapped ourselves into thinking that's the norm, man. And if you look at the population, right? There's more women than men. So unfortunately, either we're gonna have polygamy, or some of y'all are gonna die alone.
Yeah,
that's just the reality of it. Yeah, man.
Or you're gonna take turns when somebody either divorces or dies.
Yeah,
that's gonna be your reality. Yeah.
So yeah, man, and that's another thing I want to tie into, man. Our Western society thinks it's so quote progressive, but views polygamy as being backwards. But I could literally have 4 or 5 different girls living in the same household with me without a ring on, and I could have sex with all of them. We can have orgies and stuff, and that's socially acceptable. But God forbid I'm married to more than one woman. Right. What's the logic behind that? Right?
And I like to always mention the bachelorette or the bachelor. Yeah. That's cool. Guy can kiss and hump multiple women on live television, but God forbid he's married to multiple women.
Yeah, I think it's just an ego trip, man.
Yeah,
it's just an ego trip, man. And because I had this conversation before too, man. I think that I can love more than one woman, man. Definitely. I really think I can love more than one woman. You know what I'm saying?
It's very possible.
But no, love is being through our lens. It's being this. It's impossible to love more than one person at one time. I mean, to me, that's kind of backwards. It's
because love is filtered through a woman's perspective.
Yeah,
we're always looking at women to define love. A woman's face is the example of love. You know what I mean? But they've obviously they're delusional, bro. You can't trust them. You know what I'm saying? In terms of not all women, but in terms of how they're being led by society rather than their families or their traditions or their culture. I mean, they're letting society lead them. And so it's a gynocentric version gynocentric filter. Look at love.
Yeah. So I guess it's a closing note because we got some kids around us, and I know this is kind of like it's going to get real loud, and also I don't want to be talking about certain topics that are kid friendly, because I respect family. You know what I'm saying? My final note is I think it's really when you're young, dude, love is so freaking powerful. Like teenagers, especially, like, dude, your hormones are raging and stuff. And dude, I would just think that, like, dude,
There's a reason.
yeah, exactly. Like, if I loved a girl, dude, that's all I thought about all freaking day, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I had dreams about her, just being like, oh man, my life was just the
Only
pieces
for her to
would
break
fit.
your heart.
Yeah, and of course, it's never gonna work out, man. You know what I'm saying?
Never does.
Yeah. Yeah, and yeah, man, it's a process. As I get older, I begin more to analyze what love means to me, and inshallah, I hope that I'm blessed in order to meet somebody special. But if I don't, you know what I'm saying, then that's what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala decrees and what my destiny is to be. I fully accept it, man, because He knows what's best for me, right?
And inshallah, in the next life, hereafter, inshallah, you'll have something that'll be tenfold of what you ever expected.
Right on. So yeah, I think I'm gonna close this one out. It was great talking to you. I think we're gonna do this more often. Hey, dude. So actually, the next couple of days, man. Anytime I bring my laptop, let's do a stream, man.
Definitely.
Yeah, the battery life is pretty good. Yeah. I need to make up for lost time.
Yeah, I have my wife on there.
Yeah. Please do a part 2. Oh yeah, definitely for Nicer. I'll do a part 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 because you've been my number one. Okay. Yeah. Nicer's awesome. Nicer's amazing.
It's cool if you have like a dedicated fan.
Yeah, man.
Inshallah, I get that one.
Yeah, inshallah. Yeah, you will, man. So yeah, also he's got a channel, and then when he does content, I'm gonna put the links to that as well, so we can kind of collaborate. We're trying to get something to where there's more collaboration involved. You know what I'm saying? Because the way YouTube goes down, all of us brothers, man, we're so segregated into different spaces, but a lot of us, man, we have a lot of things in common. I think we need to learn how to collaborate together and cooperate.
Yeah. And not because I noticed something in the conscious community. It's a lot of what I talk about. I have a more unorthodox approach at life, looking at it through a spiritual and metaphysical lens. What I've noticed is that a lot of people, when their content kind of contradicts someone else's, they'll start to like shame that other person or like talk about that other person. I'm not about division at all. I'm not on any level. Even if I disagree with someone, even if I disagree with their ideologies, I will never try to adhere to any sort of advocacy for division. And my channel is the Chosen One, the Guided One. It's on YouTube. And then I have a Instagram. It's the man _ with the picture. If you pour a picture, the pitcher of water. I'm sorry, the man _ with the picture _ of water. So you guys can go check me out. That's pretty much it.
Yeah, man. So to close this, of course, like, share, and subscribe, please. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been dead. Even though I have been doing streams, alhamdulillah, like, I noticed that I'm gradually getting more and more followers just because, the algorithm is picking some people up. But real talk, this is a conversation that you want to be a part of. By all means, share it and like it. You guys are always welcome. I always drop the link for everything. You know what I'm saying? If you guys know me, you guys been following me, I drop the link every single stream. I don't want to be up here on some soapbox and stuff. I like to engage and interact with people. That's the whole point of this channel.
And if you miss the content, go ahead and make a reaction video. And that'll even send out more algorithms. And then we will have, before we know it, we'll have a community around one topic. And that'll be a beautiful thing. Inshallah.
So have a good night, guys. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Take care. Like, share, subscribe, never come back. Nice to remember my slogan. Yeah, that's what's up.